All right, so you want to hear about Vietnam. Not the parades, not the protests, not the movies. You want to know what it was really like, down in the dirt and the blood. 60 years old now. Damn. Sometimes it feels like yesterday, other times a lifetime ago. Funny thing, memory? My name's Michael Henderson. Most just call me Mike. Some of the guys in my LRRP, long-range reconnaissance patrol unit, they took to calling me Fox. Guess I had a knack for sniffing out trouble, or maybe just for not getting my own tail caught in a trap. I was a kid, really, 19, fresh out of a small town in Ohio where the biggest excitement was the Friday night football game, 1968. The whole country was on fire, it seemed. War, protests, civil rights, me? I just wanted to, I don't know, be something. My old man did his time in Korea, and his daddy in the big one. Guess it was in the blood. When my draft notice came, greetings from Uncle Sam, I didn't fight it. Part of me was scared, sure, but another part felt a thrill. This was it. My chance to be a hero, like in the John Wayne movies. I actually wanted the Marines. My best friend Dennis, he was a Marine, got himself killed in Hugh City that February. Part of my dumb kid thinking was, I'm gonna go over there and get the bastards who got Dennis. But the Marine recruiter, there was some holdup. So, I walked down the street and there's this army poster, be a paratrooper. Next thing I know, I'm raising my right hand for the army. They promised me infantry, airborne. Sounded a hell of a lot better than peeling potatoes. Basic was a blur of mud, sweat, and sergeants screaming in your face. Jump school at Benning, well, that was something else. Stepping out of that C-130 for the first time, wind tearing at you, that silk blossoming above. Yeah, that was a feeling. I learned a lot, not just about soldiering, but about the guys next to me. Kids from every corner of the country, all green, all scared, all trying to act tough. Then came the day. Packed onto a bird, heading for the other side of the world. The flight over was quiet. Too quiet. Everyone lost in their own thoughts. I remember looking out the window at the clouds, wondering what I was getting myself into. We landed in Da Nang, stepped off that plane into a wall of heat so thick you could chew it, and the smells. Fish sauce, diesel, something else. Something like decay. That was my first real taste of Vietnam. And it didn't take long for the main course to arrive. We hadn't been on the ground 20 damn minutes, still getting our bearings. Hadn't even been issued our rifles yet when the rockets started coming in. Sirens wailing, guys scrambling for cover. I dove into a bunker, heart hammering like a jackrabbit. There was a fella in there with me, older guy, already doing the sign of the cross. And I'm thinking, 13 months of this? We ain't even been here half an hour. That was my first wake-up call. I got assigned to a long-range reconnaissance patrol unit, a LRRP outfit. Our job was to be the eyes and ears, slip in deep, find Charlie, and slip out. Most of our EO, our area of operations, was up in the highlands, nosing around the Ho Chi Minh Trail. That's where the NVA and VC funneled their men and supplies down from the north. Our job was to make that a little less convenient for them. My first night out in the field with my new unit, I got another welcome. We were setting up for the night, and one of the guys coming back from patrol, he had a human scalp, a goddamn scalp, hanging off his helmet. Just like that. Said it was a souvenir. I just stared. The movies sure as hell didn't prepare you for that. Those first patrols were a baptism by fire, literally. You learn fast or you die. The older guys, the ones who'd been in country a while, they didn't say much, but you watched them. How they moved, how they listened, how their eyes never stopped scanning. The jungle itself was an enemy. The heat, the bugs. Leeches and ants everywhere. You didn't wear underwear out there if you were smart. And the booby traps. Little bastards, those toe poppers, just enough to take your foot off. Or punji sticks, sharpened bamboo stakes hidden in the undergrowth, sometimes smeared with, well, you can guess. I remember one time, walking point, I felt that little bit of give under my boot. Froze. The guy behind me, Warren Brayton, saw it. A 155 millimeters artillery shell, rigged to blow. If I'd lifted my foot, they'd have been scraping me off the trees like Christmas tinsel. And the AK-47, anyone who's been on the receiving end of that sound, it's a sound that crawls right into your marrow and stays there. Makes you feel fear so deep it's primal. My first real firefight, I don't remember much. Just noise and confusion. Muzzle flashes in the green. Squeezing the trigger of my M16. Not aiming at anything particular. Just sending rounds back where they came from. One night, not long after I got there, we were dug in. I was so bone-tired from humping that damn rucksack. Felt like it weighed more than I did. Close to 50 pounds, and I was maybe 140 soaking wet, that I just crashed. Slept like the dead. Woke up just before dawn to take my turn on watch. The guy I was relieving, he grins at me, says, "Congratulations, Henderson, you got your CIB, Combat Infantryman's Badge." I said, "What for?" He says, "We got hit last night." Pissing contest went on for hours. I'd slept right through it. Can you believe that? Part of me was embarrassed. Part of me figured maybe I'd used up a lifetime of luck in one night. You get used to it, or maybe you just get numb. The fear never really goes away. Not if you're sane, but you learn to wall it off to function. I started to get a feel for the jungle, for the way Charlie moved. Little things, a broken twig, a scuff mark in the dirt, the smell of nukmam, that fermented fish sauce, or even just a feeling. The guy started calling me Fox. Said I could smell a rat in a rice paddy from a click away. Maybe it was just that I was scared enough to pay attention to everything. Our missions were usually 5, 6-man teams. Inserted by chopper, often at first light or last light, then we'd melt into the jungle. 30 days out, sometimes more. Then a quick stand down for resupply, then back out again. Our main job wasn't to fight big battles, but to find their trails, their supply dumps, their base camps, interdict their movement. We were ghosts. Moving through that jungle, it was like walking through a damn sauna, 100 pounds of gear digging into your shoulders. Silence was everything. Hand signals mostly. You'd go for hours, days sometimes, without seeing a soul, but you always felt watched. Every rustle of leaves, every monkey call. You'd freeze, listening. Was it just the jungle, or was it something else? One time, we'd been out for about 2 weeks, deep in Quang Tri province, near the DMZ, hot, miserable, leeches having a field day. We were working a ridgeline, real thick stuff, when I spotted it. Just a faint depression in the leaves, almost invisible. But it was there, a trail, too well hidden to be an animal track. We followed it for a couple of clicks, slow, careful. It led us down into a valley, and there, tucked under a canopy of triple canopy jungle so thick you couldn't see the sky, was a series of camouflaged huts and an antenna. A damn homemade radio antenna poking up through the leaves. This wasn't just some trailside rest stop. This was something big. A comm station, maybe a battalion-level headquarters. Jackpot. The LT, a fresh-faced kid barely old enough to shave, wanted to call in an airstrike right then and there. But our RTO, guy named Doc, not a medic, just his call sign, and I convinced him we needed a closer look, confirm what we had. So, me and another guy, a tough hombre from Texas named Jackson, we low-crawled in. Took us an hour to cover maybe 50 yards. We could hear them talking, smell their cooking. Counted maybe 20-30 NVA regulars. Sketching frantically, trying to get every detail. Then it happened. Jackson shifted. A bamboo stalk snapped. Loudest sound I'd ever heard. Heads popped up in the camp. I grabbed Jackson, and we started backing out, slow, trying to melt back into the green. But they'd seen something. A shout, then another, and then that sound. That ripping canvas tear of an AK-47. All hell broke loose. We radioed the LT, told him we were compromised, pulling back to the rendezvous point. The whole damn MVA camp emptied out after us. It was a running gunfight for 2 hours. Leapfrogging, covering fire, adrenaline pumping so hard I couldn't feel my legs. We got to the LZ. Choppers already inbound. Tracers zipping all around us. Jumped on that bird just as they were lifting off, rounds smacking the fuselage. Close. Too damn close. Jackson took a piece of shrapnel in the leg, but we all made it. And we got the intel. They bombed that valley flat the next day. When we weren't humping through the boonies looking for trouble, we were setting up to give it to them. Ambush. That was a big part of our playbook. Find a known trail, set up a kill zone, and wait. Waiting was the hardest part. You'd pick your spot before dark, get your claymores set out, front toward enemy. Those things were a beautiful sight when they went off. If you weren't on the wrong side of them, rig your trip flares, lay out your grenades. And then, sometimes, you'd hear it. The soft pad of hooves. No, not hooves. Ho Chi Minh sandals on the trail. Whispered voices. You'd hold your breath, finger tightening on the clacker for the claymores. The LT would give the signal, usually a flare or just a whispered now. The world would explode. The roar of the claymores, hundreds of steel bowls tearing through the night, followed by the staccato M16 fire. Screams. Chaos. It was over in minutes, usually. Then the eerie silence, broken only by the moans of the wounded and the ringing in your ears. After one particularly nasty ambush, we were policing up. NVA bodies scattered everywhere. And I saw this kid from our platoon, hadn't been in country more than a month, sitting on an ammo can, calmly eating one of those god-awful John Wayne chocolate bars they gave us in C rations. Not 10 feet away was what was left of an NVA soldier who'd caught a direct hit from a grenade launcher. Just a mess. And this kid's just munching away. I walked over. He looked up. Didn't even blink. Just said, "Better him than me, Sarge." That's what this place did to you. It stripped away everything until all that was left was survival. The guys in your squad, your team, they became your brothers. More than brothers. You ate together, slept together, bled together. You knew their hometowns, their girls' names, their dreams. You trusted them with your life, every single second of every single day. Guys like Warren Brayton, who saved me from that 155mm shell, or Darrell, an ammo bearer. We were in a tight spot. Captain was down. Corman was trying to get to him in the open. Darrell was guarding a prisoner. I screamed at him, "Darrell, need you now." He yelled back he was busy. I screamed, "Waste him. Get over here." A few seconds later, Darrell was there, the look in his eyes. He'd done what he had to do. Killed that prisoner with his Ka-Bar to come help. He got hit bad himself, 3 rounds in the thigh, trying to drag the captain to cover. I had to patch him up, singing marching songs to keep him conscious while we waited for a dust-off. And you lost them. That was the hardest part. We had a guy in our team, Hoffman, quiet kid from Wisconsin. We were on point, taking turns. I'd just come off, Hoffman took over. 15 minutes later, we walked into a machine gun nest. Hoffman went down. Didn't even make a sound. Cut clean in half, practically. Died instantly. It should have been me. If we hadn't switched, that's a ghost that's walked with me for a long, long time. Then there was a fella named Smitty. We were in this god-awful firefight in a dry creek bed. Pinned down bad. October 65, Operation Shiny Bayonet, my first big taste of real combat. Our squad leader, Sergeant Chambliss was shot all to hell but still giving orders. Smitty got hit in the gut. He was furious more than scared. "Martin," he says, "does this look like it's gonna be okay to you? Begging for water, and you ain't supposed to give water to a gut shot." But he was in such agony, I cupped my hands, gave him some from the stream, just trying to give him some comfort. He didn't make it. None of my original 11-man squad made it through that first tour untouched. 4 dead, 7 wounded by August of '66. I was the last one medevaced out that May, with shrapnel and a raging case of falciparum malaria. You'd think after one tour, a guy would have enough. I did. Got out, tried to go back to the world. But the world didn't fit anymore, or I didn't fit it. Watched the news one night, saw guys from the 101st in a firefight, heard those Ks again. And I knew where I belonged. Sounds crazy, right? But I went back, and I went back again. 4 tours in all. Each one chipped away another piece of me. My last tour, I was with an air cav unit, 3rd of the 17th, hunter-killer teams. I was a platoon sergeant. We'd fly in on Hueys, chase down Loach, light observation helicopter sightings, or follow Cobras and after a strike. Less humping, but still plenty dangerous. November 6th, 1970. We were up near Quang Tri. My point man tripped a booby trap. Some say it was a flamethrower, others a command-detonated charge. All I remember is a click, then a whoosh, and then the world turned into fire. Everything was burning. The jungle, my clothes, me. I had grenades on my webbing, and I was terrified they'd cook off. My guys rolled me, put out the flames. The pain, Christ, there are no words for that kind of pain. 52% of my body burned, a lot of it 3rd degree. They flew me to Japan, then to Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio, the big burn unit. I remember lying there, more dead than alive, and my biggest, stupidest fear? That my happy patch, as we called it, had been burned off. A nurse, lesser, a captain, she checked. "Everything's intact, Sergeant," she said, just before they put me under. The little things you worry about when you're staring death in the face. I did nearly die. Thanksgiving morning, 1970. I stopped breathing, and I had this experience. I was floating, looking down at my own wrecked body on that striker frame bed. Then this light and a presence. Didn't speak in words, but I understood. "Are you ready to come home now?" it asked. I don't remember answering. Next thing I knew, I was in a tunnel, voices far away, and hands were putting an oxygen mask on me. Woke up later, back in that world of pain. But something had changed. I've been a believer ever since. Months in that burn unit. Skin grafts, debridement. They'd scrub the dead skin off you every morning, and all they gave you was Valium. You could hear the screams up and down the ward. I went down to 106 pounds, looked like something out of Auschwitz. But I lived, and I saw guys there. The humor, even in that hellhole. This one fella, Red, lost both his ears. Got his new prosthetic ones, and he put 'em on backwards. I said, "Red, you got your ears on wrong." He says, "Yeah, I don't want anyone sneaking up on me." You had to laugh, or you go crazy. Eventually, they patched me up enough to send me home. For good this time, my soldiering days were over, but the war wasn't over for me. Not by a long shot. It came home with me, in my head, in my dreams. The nightmares were the worst. Waking up screaming, thrashing back in the jungle, the smell of cordite and blood in my nostrils. My mom and sister, they'd come running in, scared to death. I started sleepwalking, ending up in weird places in the house. Couldn't hold a job, couldn't sleep. The booze helped for a while. Then it didn't. Coming home, that was another kind of battle. We landed at Travis, had to wear our Class A uniforms. Walked off that plane into a crowd of protesters. Spitting, screaming, calling us baby killers. The MPs on either side just telling us, don't react. You start a fight, you're going to the stockade. I just come from a place where I was fighting for my life, for my country, and this is what I came home to? Even in my own hometown, people looked at you different, like you were tainted. I packed my uniform away, medals and all. Didn't look at it for 40 years. Tried to forget, but you can't forget. Not that. My first wife, she couldn't take it. The nightmares, the distance. She left, took our son. Don't blame her. I was a ghost of the man she married. It took a long time, a lot of dark years. Eventually, I got some help. VA, support groups. Talking about it, that helped. Slowly, I started to climb out of that hole. Got my education on the GI Bill, like they promised. Found some peace, I guess. But the Ho Chi Minh Trail, the Ia Drang, Khe Sanh, the Ishao, places like the Khe Sun Valley where we fought the NVA 2nd Division for 10 straight days in the rain, taking casualties every damn day, watching Hoffman die when it should have been me. Those places, those faces, they're always with me. The fear, the adrenaline, the sound of those AKs, the smell of napalm. They're burned into me, deeper than any scar. War is, well, it's a damn dirty business. It changes you in ways you can't imagine. Ways you can't come back from, not all the way. You just learn to live with the ghosts. And you pray to God that nobody else ever has to see what you saw. Yeah, that's what it was like.